Good morning, everybody. Wee Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very welcome this morning. This is going to be a bit of a Paddy rambling video. I'll just put some more light on there. That's better. It's a bit of a ramble video on can I buy a knife cheaper but still get quality? And the answer, before you even start, and if you want to finish now, is yes. And I'm going to prove it this morning. And I think in these times when after all this coronavirus has died down and we've beaten it, and we will beat it, but people are just not going to have the money. Well, I'm going to say the average person is going to have to cut back a bit. One, their wages have been cut or they're maybe out of a job. But maybe these people, or maybe you're one of these people, and you're not used to looking for cheaper knives. You were able to go out and buy the knives you want. And what these are some options that are not going to be bad options. These knives are very relevant to what's happening today, and also for people who want to get into the hobby. Again, you want to get into the hobby, but you're not going to have the money to spend on the knives that you've seen on other channels. But that doesn't matter. We're knife people. We like looking at knives. You don't have to come in and get yourself in debt just for a hobby. So these are little Paddy suggestions. Now, I believe they're all really good options because it's the sort of, I started off on the budget end and I've sort of moved up gradually. I'm not high end. I'm somewhere in the lower middle, let's say. But I'm starting to choose a bit more wisely. And I'll be doing it more often now, to be honest with you, because you get to a certain stage in your collection and you could fire money out every week on a new knife, but is that really what I want to do? I don't. I've got an awful lot of knives. I don't need a knife, that's for sure. I don't need one. I have enough to last me a lifetime. I have enough to last me 10 people's lifetimes, but I like my knives. So I'm going to be starting buying more. And they're not budget knives, a lot of these. Some of them are budget, like this first offering is budget. There's about 10, I've got a selection of 10 pairs of knives. So I'm going to have to stop this waffle and carry on. But it's about 10 selection of knives. There's one bonus one at the end. And I reckon just roughly, literally on a bit of paper, writing down the price difference, I can save you nearly £800 on this selection of knives. But you're going to get knives that will make any collection that can you can start a channel with them. But you're also going to get knives if you get your knives to use as well as show. So look, let's get started before I waffle on. Oh, and by the way, this first one I'm showing a Ganzo knife, and the second one I'm showing a Ganzo knife. And the reason I'm bringing these back out again is because I know in the States you've been able to get them from sellers over there, mainstream sellers. We haven't over here in the UK, but I've noticed that Heine Haynes, my channel sponsor, are now selling Ganzos. They have a selection of Ganzos, and I suppose the more you buy, the more they'll get. It's like anything, money talks. So this is one they have. This is a Ganzo's FB763. And I chose this to match with a Benchmade black class. And if you don't know, the Benchmade black class are work knives for people who are in the ambulance service, fire service, police. These are work knives. This is the aileron, which didn't seem to be a particularly popular model. I didn't see many of them about after that first week or two. It's a beautiful deep carry pocket clip. It's not heavy. It fires out lovely. It's got the axis lock. Well, I just want you to see the axis lock on this watch. It's just amazing. This is one that's used for if you need to bring your knife out for a defensive situation, so more of a policeman. But it's just a blooming good work knife. I love this knife. But here's a little Ganzo, right? If you take the profile off them, they are really similar. This was out long before this came. This has been out for quite a while in the Ganzo range. It's in 440C, whereas this is S30V. But it's a work knife, the same as this is a work knife. This has an action that rivals that. Look at that. I mean, that's the way this one in particular came out of the box. It just drops. Great axis lock, or G-lock on it, as they call it. But there's a price difference in this. This will cost you about £30 from Heine Haynes. And I know that's a bit dearer than China, but you're going to get it in 1 or 2 days. You're not having to wait, 2 months, 6 weeks, 2 months. So there you go. That's the choice you're going to make. I personally think I would buy it from Heine Haynes because you've got a reputable company behind you. The Benchmade aileron, I don't know, 140. So you're talking, you know, £110 difference for two knives that, I'm not saying that this is better than this. It's not. This is better construction, better, well, the blade steel's a bit better. But the construction and use, I've had this for a long time. Let me tell you, it's never let me down. So there's for instance, of a budget knife that can replace something like this if you want to use the knife. If you're in the police force and you want a knife to use, I am telling you, you'll not go far wrong with something like this because you're only going to use it in emergencies. So there we go, there's a start. Here's another one. This is a controversial one. This is the last Ganzo, so if you're anti-Ganzo, this is the last Ganzo. The PM2, one of my favourite knives, and it's one of my favourite knives, one for the fidget factor, two, it's just a blooming good staple in any reviewer's channel. You want to have a PM2, it's used for all sorts. But Ganzo had their rival years ago, and this is the Ganzo G729. It's got a G-lock. You'll notice that doesn't. So this gives this the fidget factor as much as a PM2, depending on whether you like your hole or your axis lock. You've got a hole on this one, and you have the back lock. So again, this is in the $30 mark. This one, or £30 mark. I'll do pounds today, just to keep it in my head. This one is, I'm sure, about 150. So again, there's 100 odd pounds in different. And this is 440C, and I have battered this knife. I have used, battered and sharpened it. This is a great work knife. Never had a spring go on a Ganzo. I've had 3 go on a Benchmade. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Benchmade. I just think they're lighter springs and they have a tendency to go, whereas I've never had a Ganzo go on me, and I battered some of these. So there's something just to think about. It'll never replace the PM2, or that other Ganzo will never replace the aileron, and that's not what this is about. It's letting you see you can get knives that'll do a task for cheaper, and you're still getting good quality. Them Ganzos are 440C, but they're great quality. 440C at one stage was the top steel, so, you know, you have to go along with this. Now, I'm going to jump now to an expensive knife. My Spidey Chef. I absolutely love it. Titanium. It's got it's a, come on, Stephen. It's a liner lock. It's not particularly floppy about, but this is a work knife. This is an absolute work knife. Titanium, LC 200N steel, which is nearly rust proof. An amazing piece of cutlery. I absolutely love it. Deep carry pocket clip, lovely. But if you want to stay with that type of knife, which is titanium, this is about £250. This next one I got for £100 in the drop sale at Christmas. £100. This is a Gavco. Look at that knife. Full titanium, S35VN, liner lock. It drops like a dream. Absolutely stunning. So, by shopping around and waiting to Christmas, waiting to sales, I was able to get this for £100. They're 190 on drop now. But if you wait and buy and be a bit savvy, you can pick some great bargains up on that drop at the holiday periods. So there's two knives with about £150 difference from what I paid for them. And I wasn't the only one that got it at that price. There's other people do it. You know, but even if you take it at the highest price, it's a knife that's equivalent. They're both very good full titanium knives with good blade steels for EDC or whatever you want to work as. I just think that's an absolutely great way to go. Drop is a great way to buy more expensive knives. I mean, that the Gavco is made by We, and we all know the quality of We are bringing out in Savi, and you'll see a few of them in this lot of knives. Next, we have my favourite EDC at the moment is the Para 3. I absolutely love my Para 3. Absolutely love it. By the way, talking about budget, that little clip there that I use on that there cost me about $2.50, I think, on AliExpress. I had to wait for it, but hey, It was better than spending 20 odd pound on one of these MXG or whatever they're called. We can't get them over here. We're having to pay expensive prices to get them posted here. So there's just an option. The Para 3, now this one just happens to be in M390. I absolutely love this knife. Not for the blade steel, but for its ergonomic handle, the forward choil. It just works. It is an amazing knife. Quite expensive, about £150. Now this is I'm sure maybe the normal Para 3 is a bit cheaper, but this is one, because there's lots of different blade steels in them at the minute. Say, you know, this is a nice model at 153, but I don't need to buy that. You can buy this, and especially in the States, you can buy this for in the $90 to $100. Again, a bit dearer over here, but the saving of, say, 50 is a hell of a saving. Do you know what I mean? That is a hell of a saving on a knife. And you're not getting less quality. You're getting FRN handles. The blade steel is CTS BD1N, which has already been proven to be able to do a full day's work. There's not a problem with it. The same locking mechanism, exactly the same size, but you're going to save money. So rather than buy that, buy the FRN model. And Spyderco are really good at giving you that option, because, you know, this is not all about getting cheaper knives, as in cheap knives. This is about getting bargains and being savvy with your money. Being savvy with your money till things sort themselves out and you can see where you are. So you're getting a knife from the same company, but you can buy them at a much reduced price for a wee bit lesser steel, but it'll still do a full day's work. Do you know what I mean? So it's being savvy. That's what it is. Here's another one where it's a drop knife. This is a Gent, a Ferran forged Gent. We had a Gavco we made. This is a we made Ferran forged Gent. An absolutely stunning small EDC knife, S35 VN. This costs about 100 to 110 on drop. Absolutely perfect EDC, beautiful action, beautiful knife, absolutely stunning. Now, what I'm going to put beside it is a Savi. And there's a Savi Elementum, which are now coming back into stock again because they're in and out of stock. That is nearly like a clone. That's had an extra meal in the handle. This is D2. This is S35 yen. This is about £100. This is about £50. I'm just saying, these are rough prices. So, you know, for nearly half the price, you're getting a knife that looks extremely similar, reacts as a user. These two are both amazing users. Blade steel is about the same on both of them. Blade length is about the same. Everything about them. This handle is a wee bit thinner, but nonetheless comfortable in the hand. This is comfortable and it's got a forward choil. This is comfortable and got a forward choil. I've medium large hands, so they're not tiny knives. Let's just give you, for these, just a wee quick measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 3/4. Perfect. You know, absolutely perfect. Beautiful little knives, but yet the price difference, you know, one's nearly half the price of the other. And again, these are available. These are not knives that are out of your reach and you can't get any more. So I'm going to move on from the Gent. I'm going to move on to another Savi, but this time the Savi is the deer one. And this is the Savi Rustic Gent, a backlock, modern, traditional G10 with carbon fibre scales. The most beautiful clip point. Again, a really lovely price. I'm sure you can get them for, you know what, 60 quid, say 60 quid for that. And what is it? This, yeah, D2. D2, most of the Savis are in D2. Here's competition for it in the way of Brother, another knife that sponsors this channel, another company that sponsors this channel, Chinese company, and you get them from AliExpress, and I'm sure you can get them on other places, especially in the States. Look at that beautiful clip point. It's a backlock, carbon fibre, but it's got bolsters and an end cap. I mean, it's just a stunning knife. This one's in VG10. But look at the similarities again. I'm just going to put these up. Look at the similarities in them knife. But one's twice the price of the other. And the Savi's the deer one. And it's a great knife, but this one's made just as well. And if you go back in my channel, you'll see reviews on nearly all of these knives. But this is just, these are recent ones. And I've had really good feedback. I think one person has had a bad knife. from Brother that I know of anyway. But again, for half the price, it's just, you're not getting half a knife. You're getting something that is very, very comparable. And just two beautiful knives there. Love both of them knives. Now, here's another one. Here's a Benchmade mini grip. Really popular knife with the community. Everybody likes the mini grip. And as a user, it's a great little user. I think I can get a full 4 fingers grip on it, but I just find it sometimes a wee bit too small for my grip, for my hand. But if you want a knife that's going to rival that at a fraction of the price, the Honey Badger. This is a fidget friendly knife, so is this. Now it's different. It's different as in this one has an axis lock and your thumb hole, and this one has a flipper, which is amazing. This one drops shutty, and it also has the thumb hole. So they're both roughly the same size. This is the small Honey Badger. They come in different sizes as well, up to equate the larger mini grip. But again, this knife is, over 100, and this one is about £36 or $36 actually. This one, but it's in and around that £40 and £100 odd over here for this. Again, a big saving, but you're getting a knife. This has S30V, or sorry, 154 cm. I think the new ones have S30V. This one has 8CR13. Again, there's nothing wrong with 8CR13, and for £36, I'm quite happily pay that price for 8CR13. This is a beautiful little fidget knife, and I was going to do a review of this today. I sort of put it back a bit because I had a bit of thinking to do, which is not good for a paddy. But so there's a knife that you can get. Is the materials are not as good as this, but it's a fidget knife, and if you want a knife just for that'll do a day's work and you want to be able to fidget with it, there's two great little knives. Now let's go back to the budget. Here is the expensive knife, which is the Otter Messon. This is a slip joint, and this is the sailor's knife. Beautiful wood handles with this brass anchor cut out and put into the scales, and you can't feel a thing. A beautiful knife, somewhere around the £50. Here is another option of a budget knife. Here is a coal miner's knife. I'm going to let you see them together. If you can see them, blade shapes nearly the same, but this, excuse me, that was awful rude, sorry. I'm not going to restart the video. This is a Rough Rider, so it costs you about $15, maybe 20 quid here, 20 odd pound here. This is 50 odd. Again, the saving, but you're getting an amazing knife. 448, which is a great steel, easy sharpen, last you a day. This is in the German steel. It's stainless. I can't think of what do they call it? I can't remember what they call that steel, but it's just a good German stainless steel. But just a difference in price. You get in that same big blade. You get an extra blade in the coal miner as well. It has a large pen blade. But a beautiful knife. Again, just a comparison of knives you can buy that you can work. If you're going to buy this for work, buy the Rough Rider. Until things clear. This is not forever. This is for the moment. And the last of the 10 is a ZT-0450, one of my favourite EDC knives. S35 VN, absolutely beautiful in hand. This was anodized for me and a gift, a beautiful knife. I love it. Here's another Savi, and I'm throwing them in because Savi are just making blooming good knives at the minute, and I felt that I had to bring them in. There's a Savi Wyvern. Not exactly the same, but the blade lengths, the cutting lengths are about the same. The handle, this is G10 in that sort of crocodile-y dinosaur. I don't like the scales in this. I think now they're lovely to hold in hand. It's G10, I believe. They're lovely to hold in hand, but I think it makes the knife look a bit cheap. But that's not the point. It's a really good knife in D2 with an amazing, this 0450, although it's an older knife. Watch this. Oh, what's this? It just comes out like a rocket every single time. The Savi Wyvern, let me tell you, no slouch, no slouch. D2 blade, as fidget friendly as the 0450. I think they're a great comparison of budget knives. Again, this is up near the £200 mark. This is about £50. So, you know, this is just a great saving, and you're getting a really great knife that one is good for a channel. And a lot of these are just good for the channels, you know, to show knives off and to compare knives. This is your high end, and it's lovely. You wouldn't, I mean, I wouldn't swap you this for this in a month of Sundays, but what I'm saying is, for your channel or for your budget at the time, don't think you're going to get lesser knives. This is an amazing knife. This is a grail knife for a lot of people. So it can never be replaced by this, but it can be equalled in use. They'll both use about the same. So there you go. I hope that was of interest. I hope it sort of opened your mind up to just... Oh, here, did I miss one? I think I did miss one. Yes, I missed the Viper, the Collector Knives Viper. It's another. These are both new knives to me. This is the Viper. Look at that beautiful Wharncliffe blade. Absolutely beautiful. 100 plus. Here is another brother knife. This is a brand new one I've got. This is the 1508. Look at them blades together. How beautiful is that? Lovely white bone handle, which is translucent bone. It's just beautiful. My cart on this. This is in the 100 plus. This one's $30, £30. £30 on AliExpress. This one's in VG10. This one's an M390. Again, the blade steel is different, but either one of them blade steels will get you through what you need this sort of knife to get you through. Okay, just huge savings. And the knives, the specs on the knives, you know, apart from blade steels, are just so good. So, the last one I'm going to come to, and this is the hardest one to get something that somebody's going to say is as good as this. But I'm going to treat this as, if you want a bug out, I don't think there's a knife that replaces the bug out. I just think the bug out at 1.8 ounces is just unbeatable value. It's an amazing light work knife with a blade over 3 inches. I just think it's so hard to get something to compare with this. But what I was thinking, if you want a knife that's like the bug out, which is light like the bug out, maybe not just quite as light, but very, very close, and the sort of materials that the bug out has, my most underrated knife in the world, I think, the Bob Dozier, K-bar Dozier. Look at this knife. FRN handle or plastic, whatever it is, that's a plastic handle. Blade shape, which is in size, in cutting edge, about the same as the bug out and about the same shape. So if you want a work knife that's light like this, but you can't afford the price that they're asking for this is what, about 160? I'm not sure what the price. No, sorry, it's about $140. It's probably a bit dearer over here. This is $20 or 30 quid over here. What an amazing knife this is. It's an Oz 8. This is S30V. Oz 8 is still a great steel. It's so easy to sharpen. So if you're working, you just need one of my wee pen sharpeners with you. If you're going to have a hell of a day, see, just for throwing it. If you're going out in a pair of tracky bottoms or something, this is a great knife to take with you. So is this. It weighs, you know, this is 1 point, this is 2.2, I think. So, I mean, there's nothing in it. You could hardly tell the difference. Is this a fiddle knife? No. But you can. It's a backlock. It's loose. It's easy to use one-handed. It's just a great little cheap work knife. But with Oz 8, which I think is a good steel. Anyway, I'm sorry. I think Oz 8's a good steel. I know all these modern boys are into it. But if you want something else, if you want something that's got a bit better steel, a different handle material, there you go. There's an oldie. Kershaw Skyline. You get G10 on this. You get a flipper. You get an action that's all right. but the flipper's good to me. Again, the blade and the blade shape is near enough exactly the same size, shape. This is 14 C28N, the Swedish steel. A great steel will get you through a day's work. And look at the size, exactly the same. This to me is a great working version of this. But it's light, it'll go in your pocket, your tracksuit bottom. And yes, it's an older knife. There's no doubt about it, it's an older knife. But it's a knife you'd also want in your collection, like the Dozier, to show people just what you can get for your money. So there we go, that's it. All of them. I reckon in these knives that are down here, if you were to buy these knives, the budget version of the more expensive knives, you're talking somewhere in the $750 to $800 difference in price. That's a lot of money. That would buy you a high-end Chris Reeves knife, you know, with Damascus. So, I mean, that is just a huge saving in 10 knives in your collection. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the little waffle through. I'm going to now pick what's my favourite, what would I say is my favourite buy out of them all. And I am going to go, this is quite difficult because I've just made this up in my head. Not good. Here you are. Here's my favourite. Without a shadow of a doubt, the Viper. I love this. It's just new to me, so I'm still in that honeymoon phase with it. I think this is an amazing knife for the micarta. This is a sway back, and this is just a Warncliffe. But they're so similar, but the price difference is over 130 for that. I just think they are two smashing knives that anybody could have in their collection. But there you go. My favourite is the CK Viper, Collector Knives Viper, and the Brother 1508. There you go. Paddy's gone. Take care. Cup of tea time. Bye now.